YTBC, what's the deal? So, I was wrong about this prediction. Yes, Alexander Povetkin did win the fight. I predicted him to win, but I predicted a unanimous decision. 117, 111, somewhere in there. And it was on his way to being that type of fight. The cut happened, so they stopped the fight. And pretty much Wach did exactly what I said he was going to do in my prediction video. I told you he was going to use the jab, use his high guard, and he does have decent boxing skill. Yes, he doesn't look like Timothy Bradley or Floyd Mayweather or Andre Ward or Chocolatito. He doesn't look like those guys, but he's a big guy. He uses a high guard. He uses a jab. He has decent footwork for his size, but he's not active enough. He gets kind of sluggish. He just doesn't move his hands enough. And for the first few rounds of this fight, he was using the jab. Povetkin really couldn't find a way to pick his spots. He couldn't find a way to come in and place shots, and he didn't feel comfortable throwing combinations from that on the outside of that jab. But a couple of rounds went by. Probably about the fourth round, he started to move his head, find a way inside, and he started letting his hands go. Just more active, just his overall work rate. I told you guys that this was going to happen. Povetkin, even though a lot of you guys think he's roided up, he's juiced up, and that's fine. But at the same time, he still has some of the same tendencies. You know, whether you think he's juiced up or not, that can only take him so far. If you still making some of the same mistakes and having some of the same tendencies, they can be exploited. You know, people are going to take advantage of those things. And I told you, a jab will keep him off balance. No matter how juiced up he is, a jab will keep him off balance. And when he gets on the inside, he is susceptible to being tied up. And when I was watching this fight, I was streaming it, and I seen people leaving comments under the video saying this is a boring fight. It's the most boring fight they've seen since Lennox and Tua. And I'm just like, you know, these guys aren't going to look like welterweights, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, just because they don't look like welterweights, some people want to see a Holyfield Tyson. I keep telling you guys, those type of fighters aren't walking through the door. We just got to deal with what we got. And Povetkin fought a good fight. You know, he can only do so much with Wach in front of him. He tried to go for the knockout, but I told you he's a more of a patient type of brawler, kind of like a Miguel Cotto, guy who likes to stalk you behind the high guard and chop you down like that. But Povetkin isn't just going to run in there face first. You know, now I left a video about an hour ago, put a video up about Povetkin's team going to the WBC convention and them telling the WBC that they will not be ready for Deontay Wilder January 16th. Now, they did this before the fight with Wach. They did it yesterday. So, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to see the fight get pushed all the way till March or April. Maybe February. But, again, if Deontay Wilder decides to do something else, I just hope this doesn't turn into, you know, Ring Around the Rosie, like I said in my other video. Whether it's Povetkin or Wilder's fault, they need to just set a date, get a date set, and let's get the fight underway. But Povetkin looked good tonight. He looked like Povetkin. You know, just the tapes I watched, all the fights I've seen, he looked like Povetkin tonight. You know, for some reason, people think he's this destroyer KO artist. And I think what he did to Perez, people are kind of looking at that like, oh, he can do this to anybody, you know, and that's not true. You know, Perez is a good fighter. He was a top 10 heavyweight at the time when he got knocked out like that. But I just think it was one of them situations where, you know, two heavyweights were in there and Povetkin just caught him with a good shot. I don't think Povetkin's going to go in there and knock everybody out. And when Povetkin and Wilder do meet, when that fight was first being talked about, I was like, man, I was picking Povetkin maybe 70-30, 60-40 favorite. But I think that fight is more 50-50 the more I break down the tape and just look at both guys. And just that reach is going to give Povetkin problems. Unlike Wach, who didn't, you know, was letting combinations go and letting right hands go the way I know Deontay Wilder will. Wilder's going to keep Povetkin at bay, and he's going to meet him with that right hand. Now, it's going to be up to Povetkin to move his head, find his way on the inside. But when he gets on the inside, he has to work. Wilder has shown that he will throw hands on the inside. Povetkin does a lot of clinching. He's susceptible to being held on the inside. Wilder likes to fight, so maybe they will brawl on the inside, or maybe Wilder will use his height and size and just wrap Povetkin up. I know when I was watching the fight, there was people complaining about it, saying on the stream I was on, they were saying that they want to see some points getting took in this fight from Wach. They thought he was just grabbing and holding. And in my prediction, I said in order for him to win this fight, the fans would not like the way he needs to win. If I was his trainer, it would be a lot of grabbing and holding and using his jab and controlling him and pushing Povetkin on his back foot. He was using the jab, but then he just didn't know what else to do after that. But I think Deontay Wilder, just from what I've seen of Povetkin, not only Deontay Wilder, but any big, strong heavyweight that's out there, even a Fury or even a Klitschko again, guys like that are always going to give Povetkin problems. He has better fights and more explosive fights when he's in there with the Ruslan Chagaev, somebody that's around his height and around his size. But these big guys, I think they're going to tie him up, maul him, walk him back, keep a jab on him. But Povetkin, you know, he does have a chin. It's not going to be easy to walk him back, and but Wach didn't even give himself a chance to push him on his back foot tonight, man. He didn't throw he didn't throw enough right hands. He just didn't fight like the bigger guy. He was fighting off his back foot, which is a good skill to have. But when you're 6 inches taller and 30 pounds heavier, man, you have to make your presence felt in there, and he didn't. Like he was trying to just score points like an amateur or something. But we'll see how Wilder does when he goes against Povetkin. But he has the reach, he has the power, and he has the size to beat Povetkin. Povetkin does have power in each hand to catch Wilder. I mean, it's going to be a good fight when it does happen. YTBC, I'm out.